Welcome to More or Less Bread. I'm Les. Today I'm going to show you how to make 2 baguettes. I have attempted baguette for a long time. My wife is Parisian, and when I went to France, I realized how baguettes were so good. Well, after all the attempts with multiple different flours, this Francine French flour is what I have found to be the best for baguettes. Just giving you my inside secret to what makes a great baguette for me. All right, so here we go. Baguettes are exact. You need exact measurements. And it's one bread that you cannot wing. So I'm going to go with grams. All right, first thing we need is 350 grams of flour. So I am going to get 350 grams of flour. A little more. And sifting helps with rising. You really, once you want to make good bread, you want it to rise. And baguette is airy and fluffy, so we want to rise. All right. Come on, 2 grams. There we go. All right. There. To the side. 350 exact. There we go. All right. So now, with 350 grams of flour, we want 1 half a teaspoon of salt. Go ahead and put that in there. And 1 teaspoon of yeast. And I put a heaping one. I don't even mess around. There we go. All right. Now that we have that, we need to mix that salt, yeast, and flour together. All right. Now, what we need is 260 grams of water, cold water. So let me get 260 grams of cold water. There you go. Okay. 260 grams of cold water. Now this, we're going to mix, I'm going to mix with a wooden spoon handle. And you're not going to want a creamy, smooth texture. You want one of them dry doughs. First of all, it's going to be a little clumpy. It's going to be a little exposed. So here we go. All right. First get the flour from the sides, bring it to the middle, it'll start thickening up. This is where you're going to need a strong arm. Right here. Once you've got it to where the flour's all from the sides. Just gonna give it that. Now, while we're at the beginning stage, you'll want to scrape the sides as well. You just want that now. Because as this dough mixes, it's going to change and there'll be no more dry spots on the sides. Okay. Not much mixing at all, honestly. This is lumpy. Just a little closer shot for you. It is like an incomplete dough. Really. I wanted to mix it more and more and more as I made it. It's like it just doesn't look right. Well, you don't need to shape it. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to get it to this stage here. Now, for that wonderful dry stage, we will pull away. At this point, you want to wrap it. You want to seal all of that flavor inside. Right now. And we are going to let it rest and rise for 45 minutes. See you in 45. This will all be cleaned up. Alright, it has been the first 45-minute rest. Got a slight bubble from the gases. Nice tight seal. One thing about this is it smells always better as it builds flavor. So I'm just going to fold that back. I'm going to get my spatula wet, my hand wet. Break that free from the bowl. Now we're going to give it 4 folds. 1. It's cold to the dough. 2. 3. Yeah. 4 fold. And flip it. Alright. Just like any dough, it sticks to everything. Clean the sides. You gotta love Hawaii. You start making delicious bread and the bugs want to come. Alright. And we'll sew that up. Let's do the second 45-minute rest. See you in 45. All right, it has been the second of actually 4 45-minute rests. So this is now an hour and a half into 3 hours of folding and resting. So by now it has a nice creamy texture, no longer that dry, rough dough. And you start to see the bubbles in the bottom of the dough now. So let's go ahead and open that up. See the bubble on the bowl there. You can definitely smell the flavor by now. All right, once again, we're gonna do 4 folds. 1, 2, Once again, pick it up, roll it over, set it down. All right. Once again, we're going to cover and let it rest for 45 minutes. All right, see you in 45. All right, it has been the third of 45-minute rests, and now it is rising quite a bit, getting those wonderful bubbles. You can see the gas is building a nice wonderful bubble on top. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. It's getting better in the smell. All right. Get this free from the bowl. Once again, fold 4 times, and you'd be surprised how cold this is. Alright, there is 4 folds, once again, and we're going to let it do its final 45-minute rest now, before we cut it and start making 2 loaves. Alright. That's looking really good. See you in 45. Okay, so I just wanted to show you my setup. The water I have is a cake pan at the bottom, full at least a half-gallon quart plus of water on the very bottom. And on the top rack is where I'm going to place the baguette. Also, my stove is a liar. So I have a secondary thermometer to tell me the true temperature when I want to reach 500. So this is just showing you the setup before we make the baguette. All right, that was its final 45-minute rest. It is time to cut it into 2 loaves and put it in the couche. All right. That always smells great. All right, let's move that forward. And one thing I learned about baking bread, it takes more flour than it does actually to make the loaf. You have to use extra. All right. So now I'm going to put the dough down and I'm going to cut it into 2 loaves. But first, we need to give it an area to do this. So, as you can see, I'm making a nice big area. All right. Let's do this. All right, I wet my spatula. Now it's time to free it from the bowl. Right onto the flour. Yeah. Perfect. All right, now that it's there, let's go ahead and coat it heavily. Don't be shy. All right, now, at this time, I'm going to just eyeball it. Half I mean, you can measure it, get the scale out, and then, but once you cut it and you add another piece to it, it's truly hard to get it to go back together. So at this point, I like to cut it the lengthwise instead of width because it helps with the shape of the baguette. So just eyeball it. Cut it into 2 pieces. More flour. Alright. So now, at this time, that I have the 2 loaves cut and shaped, now I want to do my couche. I don't have much counter space in the condo, so I'm gonna do it back here, and you want to cover it as much as you do the countertop. I'm only doing 2 loaves, not 4, so let's just do a little bit. All right. Okay. A little more in there. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get that completely coated. Stretch it out, flatten it. Yeah, all those beautiful bubbles, I know. All right, it's about the width of my baking pan, so let's go ahead and roll it now. It gives that baguette that wonderful texture, contour. Oh, I know, right? And then I pinch it. Like shaping by hand. All right, fold that in, pinch it together. Let's give it a coating down the entire length. All right. And into the couche. Right, the exact length of it. Perfect. Fold that over it, just like that. All right. Let's do the same with this piece. What's the length of my pan? So roll it. Start pinching. Let's fold that long end then in, pinch it, pinch. You'll see, we'll smash it with our hand. My roll cart won't take that. All right. Nice. Let's get that coated perfectly. Nice, nice. All right, let's move it by hand. There. Right here where it's at. Perfect. Awesome. Let's go ahead and cover that up. There we go. All right, we'll go ahead and let that set for 20 minutes. We'll come back and all this will be cleaned up. Okay, I've taken 5 minutes to clean up, and the baguettes have been resting 5 minutes in the couche. At this point, I'm going to preheat the oven now to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I said, mine's a liar, so I have an extra thermometer inside so I know what the temperature is. But at this point, we want to preheat with the water inside to 500 degrees. That way it will start boiling ahead of time and be ready when we're to put the baguette in. All right. Okay, so it took my oven an additional 15 minutes to get to temperature. So it's been 35 minutes now since the baguette has been in the couche. Not 20, sorry. I have prepared my cutting board with a little bit of flour. Some people take cardboard, whatever, but you don't want to touch the baguette from here to the cooking pan. It's just too much and will ruin the shape. So at this point, I am bringing it onto the board, putting on the edge of I have a baking pan with a piece of parchment paper. There we go. All right. And now, let's go. All right. Perfect. I'm trying to grow a little bit on me. All right. At this point, you want water in a spray bottle. The more the merrier. It's going to certainly brown your baguette. Baguette right down the middle. All right. So, one thing I learned about baking with water and steam, don't put your face over the oven. You'll regret that. As soon as you open it, it's a burn. So, let's pull back. Let's get the bread ready. All right. And the reason I say 500 is because once I open this oven, the temperature is going to drop drastically. So it'll take a while to come back up. Here we go. Onto the top shelf. And there we have it. We'll go ahead and have that for 20 minutes. See you in 20. All right, it has been 20 minutes and it is time to pull the bread out. We're at 500, so there's no messing around. This is serious temperatures. Let's go ahead and watch out for the steam burn. Let's pull the baguette out now. All right, there's one. Cool. Still got water in the bottom. Turn that off. Get that at the end. All right. There is 2 baguettes. Right? Oh, you heard that? Oh, yeah. Yes. We'll cut those here in about 1 to 2 hours. Okay, so I'll be honest with you, it has not been an hour. It's been 30 minutes. It's hard not to cut fresh bread, truly. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this now and show you what it looks like on the inside. And there we have it. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take that to my wife. She'll appreciate that. All right. Well, bon appetit, and thank you for watching. I'm Les.